Hello, this is the LEGO Star Wars Rogue One TIE Striker. It's kind of like a TIE Interceptor with half the wings, kinda. At least the shape of the individual wings is very familiar, and these were nice to put together. Didn't take too long, but I like how smooth they are, but yet they have a little bit of texture on them, and I especially like the connection points to the kind of pill-shaped fuselage. See, this has a combination of the light gray, the dark gray, and also sand blue as an accent. A nice little throwback to original trilogy, the bluishness that they intended for the TIE series on the whole. And this also uses a combination of prints and stickers. So this is a printed piece right here, as is the canopy on the front that I'll show you. But these are stickers here, so 4 separate ones there, and that's also a sticker going across. They also used another one of these gray ingot pieces, a relatively recent color right there. It looks like they're going to be using that piece, that mold, more and more and more, which makes a lot of sense. It makes for some nice, little bit of texture and shaping on the surface of things. There's the printed canopy on the front, and this folds down forward to give you access inside of there, but that's not quite enough room for you to get your huge figure hands in there to get at the minifigure pilot. So they let you open up the top as well, and that gives you a pretty decent view inside, lets some light in, and that's a pretty good angle to see the pilot. But there's this cross member here across the front, which again has another one of these ingot pieces, but that does kind of get in the way of, like I said, your huge figure fingers and getting at that pilot. Fortunately, the pilot is not attached with any studs to the seat down below. Look at this. This is like kind of weird, man. They just use one of those panel pieces, so the feet of the figure just kind of get wedged in there, which makes it a little bit more convenient. That is a pretty posh looking seat in there with the tan that I think represents leather or a leather-like surface. I mean, it's like the interior of the Millennium Falcon. That's pretty sweet. He has a flight yoke in front, which is just a battle droid body, but no printed or other stickered pieces or anything, but I think that's okay. On the underside, there are a couple of spring-loaded shooters, which are not nearly as well integrated and hidden. Well, not really hidden at all, are they? As on many other craft that I've seen LEGO do in recent months. These just kind of stick out. From the front, I think it looks fine, but as soon as you start to turn it around to the side and see just how those are very apparent, it's not that great. Even when you take those projectiles away, it's still a little bit blocky. I haven't seen the real thing in universe quite so well from underneath, so I don't know how that should look, but it does look blocky to me. This little extension back here is just for the sake of having the thing sit fairly flat on the ground. One thing that is particularly odd to me is that at the rear you don't see the ties. Where are the twin ion engines? Where are the engines at all? There's no suggestion of any sort of exhaust whatsoever back here. I mean, this shaping is nice and all. Maybe these are supposed to be the outlets off to the sides. I'm not sure. It doesn't quite look like it. These things that stick down here, those are actually actuators for the wings, because this does have folding wings, and they actually have a remote system with some Technic and some very long axles that go through this that are kind of nice, but they only work one at a time. So this acts up here, and this will do the other wing. So that brings it up into its alternate form. Now from under here you can see some of the mechanism, and unfortunately you can see some of the red interior pieces. There are also some orange pieces that can be seen from the side over here, so that's not so great. But fortunately those are just a few pieces. Folks who get bugged by that will probably have parts that can replace those. But the mechanism itself works pretty nicely. I do wish that it was linked together so that the two of them would go at the same time. But once they're up, this is a different look, and it's very swishable from underneath. It's very easy to just cup your hand around the base of this thing and get really, really good control on it, so there's no worry about accidentally grabbing something that will come off. It's easy to hit the projectiles when you have them in there, but nothing feels fragile in any way, so it's very handleable. These wings are pretty thin, but they're sturdy enough. They made them with enough parts that are arranged well enough that they hold themselves together pretty nicely. And yeah, it's a pretty cool different look. The wings do kind of lock in this position. They don't want to come down too easily. You want to actually use these mechanisms to unlock and let them come down. You can still hold it like this way. Just the wings start to get a little bit in the way, but it works. I think it's actually a pretty nice looking thing. I personally have grown quite tired of all the different TIE variants and spin-offs that have been made, not just in official canon, but also in the expanded universe. But this one here actually works for me. It has a certain uniqueness, a certain elegance. It doesn't just look like an interceptor with half the wings sticking off. It has its own unique flair, especially with the changing design. Now, LEGO has made so many different, sometimes very subtly different variants of TIE Fighter pilot minifigures. It can be really difficult to keep track of the changes. As far as I can tell, this one here on the left uses the same helmet print, and also hip and leg prints as the most recent one from the UCS TIE Fighter from original trilogy. However, it does have a new torso, which adds a couple of large, the most obvious changes on the belt, with a couple of large silver areas, buckle-like things off to the sides, and also that one little silver dot has been swapped from one side to the other, like the previous one had it, like this guy has it on his right, your left, and this one is swapped over to the other side. Very similar printing for the breathing apparatus there. This guy here is a Imperial ground crew member, which I think is a very valuable character to have. Just very similar to a Death Star gunner, but with the helmet being just a little bit shorter. Doesn't have all that extension off to the back. He's got a couple of batons there, the light wands to give indications to a pilot who's either coming in or getting ready to take off. And then next to that is the Shore Trooper, tan color, uses the same helmet mold as the hover tank pilot, but has a different colored scheme for the whole outfit. It's actually a slightly different set of materials and build in universe, but that's a pretty good looking thing. I didn't expect to like tan. I didn't expect that to work out to me personally, you know, just subjectively for a stormtrooper type dude, but I think it actually does. It doesn't bug me too much, although I do get a very strong classic Cylon Raider vibe from the visor there. The last figure on the right is just a generic Rebel trooper, and that's a pretty good looking one. It's got the original trilogy style of helmet there. They've given him a little extra extension on the barrel for his blaster. Looking at these from the back, all four of them get some pretty respectable prints, I would say. And as for alternate faces, that's a good one. Very good for charging into battle. Nothing here, and obviously nothing here. As for the faces themselves, the standard ones, it's two more angry clones and one guy with a little headset boom microphone. Yeah, not bad. Not a bad overall design, and not a bad job by LEGO turning it into a model. The thing that bugs me the most about this actually is the price. I think that the price to part ratio, you know, is a little bit on the high side, but could be justified with the number of large prints and large parts, but just the volume of stuff that you get when you complete this is not all that great. You know, it feels like it has possibly even less mass to it than the First Order TIE Fighter, which had a similar pricing issue with it when it was first released. This one is definitely longer, but I don't feel like I get $70 US worth of stuff in my hand when I grab this. Beyond that, again, I wish the spring-loaded shooters were better integrated and better hidden away, and I wish that it had more obvious outlets for the engines. So let me know what you think about the design of the set and what you think about its value. Share your thoughts with myself and the rest of the viewers by leaving a comment, and I'll talk to you again soon.